Back to another episode of Uncontested Sports on this Monday night, April 4th. Jordan and Ringle, Joe's out for the day today, so just the two of us manning the ship. Interesting Monday here. The MLB season is right around the corner. We have some devastating news if you're a Mets fan we have to talk about, with your ace being out for a significant amount of time. And then the Yankees, a couple weird things happened with them, and it had nothing to do with on-the-field player transactions. Just two statements, one made today by Carlos Beltran, one I think was made yesterday or over the weekend by Brian Cashman, and we'll have to dive into those comments and see where Carlos Beltran was coming from, and also we got to jump into why is Brian Cashman blaming a certain team for the Yankees' misfortunes the past couple seasons. And then we'll wrap up today's show talking some Islanders and Rangers. Rangers pushing to the playoffs, looking like on a collision course with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. And then the Islanders, it's a miracle they need, but hey, they're playing decent, so it's something to talk about there. Before we get into any of that, follow us on Twitter at UncontestedPod, Instagram at Uncontested_pod. Find us on YouTube, Uncontested Sports. Listen to us live, Twitter Spaces, Monday nights at UncontestedPod. And then right after the show, after the conclusion on Twitter Spaces, we go live to the public on all streaming platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. Those are our four main ones. So you also find us on Simplecast, where we stream, where we have our main account, our main hub. So we'll start off today with the stay away from the Yankees quotes, the two quotes that really opened some eyes the past couple of days. But we'll start off with Jacob deGrom. He was on his way last year to one of the best seasons of all time.
A 1 year. I didn't have my mic.
Yeah, your mic was muted, yeah.
I think he had like a 1.08 ERA before he got hurt.
Yep.
Insane.
Yeah, and it was like every game. It was just unbelievable. It was must-watch TV whenever he took them out. It was really sensational. And then he gets hurt, out for the year. I believe it happened like what, beginning of July, around the summertime?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. He gets hurt. He's out for the year. He's probably on his way to winning another Cy Young. I'm looking at it now. He finished 9th in Cy Young voting and missed half the season.
That's how great there's any guy to do it,
yeah.
If there's any guy to warrant that like attention, it's him.
Yep. So then he's out for the year. You think he's going to come back healthy for the next season, which is this current season about to start this week. You get Max Scherzer. So, wow, you got the 1-2 punch of your dreams in Scherzer and deGrom. And then deGrom, it comes out. He gets an MRI. He's hurt. And they just can't pinpoint the injury, really. They can't really get a proper, like 100% point the finger. This is the problem. This is what we have to do. And at best, he's back at the end of May, but with deGrom's health problems and with how the Mets have been dealt the injury bug the past few years, I don't see him coming back at best the end of May. I see him coming towards the end of June, maybe even further.
But yeah, but that's the thing too. Like deGrom never, like this is recent with deGrom with these like really compiling injury problems. Like this hasn't really been like from the beginning of his career. He's been pretty healthy. So it's really only the last couple seasons where we're seeing him get continuously hurt, and it's definitely concerning now that it keeps getting piled up like this. And yeah, what they say, he's not throwing for 4 weeks, and then after that they're going to reevaluate. And that's to me that's minimum 2 months, minimum, because they're not saying he's coming back in 4 weeks, and then before we know it, it's going to be we'll see him after the All-Star break.
Exactly, I'm telling you that.
Yeah. Hopefully not, obviously, but like you can't get your hopes up with this. He had this. He just had he pitched. Him and Scherzer pitched the same game, and it was like they were like promoting it, like, oh, see, both of them pitched today, and it was great. He threw. It was fine. He didn't come out of the game, nothing, and then we just find out that he had soreness after the game, and then
it was an MRI revealed he had a stress reaction in his right scapula, and these pitchers nowadays, it's like you're just waiting for any of them, just waiting for them to get the injury bug or get a devastating first injury. It's crazy. It's just one after another. And now you got deGrom back-to-back injuries. The CBS article I'm on is optimistic estimate would likely have him returning sometime around the beginning of June. That's being optimist. That's 2 months guaranteed missing. I mean, which
I think is realistic. Yeah. I think it's realistic for him to miss 2 months. Like they said 4 weeks, but it's 2 months.
4 weeks he's not throwing. Then he has to
revamp
road,
back up.
Yeah, the road to recovery. So these pitchers, it's just one after another. And could you attribute it to like, I think the main reason is nowadays these guys all throw so hard,
especially deGrom.
And the breaking pitches are supposed to be a pretty, like, you're not throwing 95, except you're deGrom on a slider.
I was going to bring up a slider. Yeah.
Exactly.
He hits like 90.
These guys are
94.
They're throwing gas on breaking pitches. And it's going to happen. You're torquing your arm like that, throwing 95. Instead of just throwing the straight fastball like 97, you're throwing 94, 93 sliders like deGrom. And this could be the end product of some for the majority of these pitchers in the league.
And I'm just hopefully it's not as bad as what we're all thinking. But like I said, I would not be surprised if it's the All-Star break. If we don't see him until the second half of the season, which hopefully the Mets are in still a decent position where we could use him in the second half of the season. Hopefully he doesn't just get shut down because we're not in it, but that's a different conversation.
And then he said he wants to opt out at the end of the season. But what if he doesn't play or barely plays?
He still said
he's still going to opt out.
He still said he plans to, like, this doesn't change anything.
He has $30 million left in his contract, so he's going to opt out and try to get like the $40 million
I guess,
contract. Yeah. And let's just say he has like a good season, but he's in and out of the lineup because he's hurt. He's Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher in the league. But if he can't stay healthy this whole year, do you go that $40 million and bring him back?
I think the Mets will. I think they have Steve Cohen. They have the money to do it. It's Jacob deGrom. He's the face of the team. If he misses the whole year, I guess maybe you can ask the question. You can let him walk. But he should come back. We should see him. But I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to be put in those shoes. That would be terrible if this injury like turns the Mets off, and like they really believe that this is like a career type injury where he's never going to get over, and they let him. I'll understand it, obviously. If the Mets truly believe that, and that's not why they want to sign him, then yeah, of course. Like, it's going to suck. It's going to be terrible, but like, obviously there's a thought process behind it.
Yeah, we have to see. Like, we can just look at it now in beginning of April. You have to see how this whole season goes to really get to nail down where the Mets should go at the end of this season. But hey, if he comes back in mid-June and goes on to be top 3 in the Cy Young again, then they'll throw the world at him.
They're going to throw $50 million at him.
Yeah, Cohen will do that.
Yeah.
And the prices of pitchers is only going up and up and up and up. So, but now you're starting the season with Scherzer's your 1, Bassett's your 2, and then after that, it's like.
After that, you got.
Who do you really fall in love with there?
We got Taijuan Walker.
I know who's there, but I'm saying I don't fall in love with any of them.
There's all what ifs.
If deGrom, Scherzer, Bassett is 1, 2, 3, you're loving that. Bassett's a great 3. Now Bassett becomes a 2, which I think is still fine, and you still have Scherzer. But after those 2, I don't. It's. I don't know.
Well, you saw that they tried to trade for Paddock.
Yes.
Which he's not who he was supposed to be either. But I
would like him better than anyone else after Bassett, though. 100%.
Yes, I would take the chance on Paddock for what we were giving up and for what we were getting in Hosmer's contract. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but regarding that trade, I thought it was just nice to see them being proactive. Just deGrom's out, we gotta get a guy to fill a spot in the rotation. So I like seeing that. It didn't go through. Am I upset about it? Really? No. Like, it's just kind of, I could take it or leave it type of thing. But yeah, now after Scherzer and Bassett, you got Taijuan Walker, you got Carlos Carrasco, and then you got one of either Tyler McGill. I think it's going to be Tyler McGill or David Peterson. They're going to fill that last spot in the rotation. So,
dude, I wouldn't be surprised you start seeing the thing ramping up with Frankie Montas out of the A's and try to Mets go back to the A's asking for a pitcher.
Yeah,
right now.
no, if
Manaea just went to San Diego. So
yeah, they were aggressive for Paddock, so they're looking for pitching help. So maybe they do get in the conversation of Montas, but who knows? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so the Mets, you can never be happy as a Met fan, and even when it looks up and up.
I know.
Even when Cohen, before he showed up, they wanted to put the whammy on that because of his past, like he had legal issues in the past. Can't be happy if you're a Met fan. Nothing to be settling about.
There's always something to bring us down.
It's always something, and it sucks that deGrom is taken off the past 3 years. He's been the best pitcher in the league, hands down, and now he's. who knows what the few if this guy if this is going to be a lingering thing for the rest. We got to see what the MRI comes back, and hopefully it comes back as nothing. What did I say before? It was a stress fracture in his scapula.
Mm-hmm.
Does he come back and have a different approach to pitching then?
I think that's the most like realistic path. I think he is gonna. He did comment on it. I think it is likely that he's gonna try to switch things up to not re-aggravate this injury again and again and again like he's been doing. Is that gonna hurt him? Is that gonna make him less dominant? I don't know. I hope not. But even if he's a little less dominant, he's still very good.
Yeah.
So like. He's just that good, which is insane.
Even if you get the Jacob deGrom that like 2018 was the beginning of like he won Cy Young. Third.
He was always a good pitcher.
Yeah, he was always good.
And then he just reached this level of dominance where
did he make a change after after going into the 2018 season? He was a good pitcher. Yeah. He was a very reliable good pitcher in the league. 2018 to 2021, he's now the best pitcher in the league, hands down. Is it possible that after that 2017 season, he took that risk of throwing even harder to elevate his game? And now this is the repercussions of being the best in the league. And now that he's going to come back, he's like, maybe I got to go back to pitching the way I did from 2014 to 2017, where I was pretty good. I was still pretty good, but now I'm 34.
That does make sense because I do remember watching the Met games and listening to Gary Keith-Ron. They have been saying that his velocity has been going up. Like he's been throwing harder and harder every year. And it's like insane, and just insane watching him what he does, and we all know that. So maybe he does take it down a notch. Maybe he does find a way to throw differently. I mean, this is obviously being hopeful. This is best case scenario that he finds a way to avoid this injury in the future. He can come back by the All-Star break or sooner, and he can carry out the rest of the season and hopefully have a fun little playoff push.
So again, the question marks continue with the Mets, whether it be their lineup. Last year going into the season, I had questions, and now it's where is your number one pitcher? Where's he going to wind up? Again, best case scenario, beginning of June. Ringle, I'm like you said, won't be shocked at all.
I won't be shocked.
Wait to the All-Star.
I'm expecting All-Star break. I'm expecting it 100%.
So the Mets have their questions that they have to answer. Their lineups, they're pretty much, other than deGrom, they're set to go. It's McCann behind the plate. First base is going to be what's his name?
Either Pete Alonso or Dom Smith. Now that we have the DH,
so Dom Smith is going to probably be DH. They're not. Neither of them are great fielders, though.
They're not great. They're serviceable. I mean, Dom Smith's probably maybe a little bit better than Pete Alonso, but Alonso, he can make plays now and again. He's not a liability at first base.
And then second is it going to be McNeil at second, and you have Escobar at third.
It's very weird. It could be McNeil, it could be Cano. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna finish out with. I mean, my guess is McNeil. I think they're gonna. I guess he had a very down season last year. I would assume that they maybe put him out there this season to see if he can still be that leadoff guy, or at least number two or top of the lineup, because now Nimmo's really taking control over one. But if he can be that really good contact hitter that he's been the last few years off of this down year. But yeah, I would think Eduardo Escobar starts at third base over J.D. Davis for now, at least. I do like Escobar a lot as a player. Lindor's your shortstop. Probably
center Nimmo, Marte right.
No, center's Marte.
They're going to put Marte in center?
I think
he was a center fielder, but Nimmo's the center fielder from last year. So I was thinking maybe they just keep Nimmo in the spot.
I'm pretty sure Marte is going to play center field. I think they're going to kick Nimmo over to either left or right field.
Okay, then who's the other outfielder?
Kana.
Oh, I forgot to have Mark Hanna. Yeah. And no one signed Michael Conforto yet.
No. Well, did you see the news that came out with him?
Did he get hurt?
He had surgery back in January. Oh. And he was waiting for that to be done, get through all that process before he was ready to sign with the team. Okay. So now he's probably going to be signed soon. So he's not hurt right now. He's coming back. He's in the process
from an injury.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I think now that he's doing that, I think he's going to be able to sign soon. So we'll see where he goes. And like we talked about last week, could be the Yankees maybe if they want to make that move.
No, they're not going to.
It should be the Yankees.
I would much rather Michael Conforto and over Aaron Hicks, but the Yankees love Aaron Hicks. And they're not going to move on from him this year unless he has to be an absolute disaster in the first half, which he really has shown no signs of not being a disaster. And then they get someone at the trade deadline. But Who knows with the Yankees? But now, as on to the Yankees.
Yeah, we'll
now
move
that
on
we
to them.
mentioned them, we'll first talk about the comments that came first. Brian Cashman, I believe, over the weekend, blaming the Astros for his team's inability to win it all. He blamed the Astros cheating scandal back in 2017, saying if it wasn't for them, we could have got to the top and whatnot. Brian, hate to break it to you, but they beat the Dodgers in the World Series that year, and the Dodgers then won a World Series in 2020. And also, you had 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, you're in the playoffs. So what our knowledge is the Astros weren't cheating then, and the Astros only knocked you out once after that. 2018 Boston, 2019 Astros, 2020 was Tampa, 2021 Boston again. So it's just a weak move. I expect a comment coming from like the Jets to make a comment like that, or like maybe like a bad team in a sports. I expect a comment from that coming from a team that has not found much success, coming from the Yankees and Brian Cashman. It's like, are you kidding?
But yeah, let alone where you expect it from. You don't expect it from the Yankees at all.
Yeah.
You don't expect the Yankees to make this type of comment. And to hear it from your general manager that he's feeling cheated out of a World Series appearance, maybe a win, is just it's just rubs me the wrong way. And like you said, it's 100% weak, and it's just it happened so long ago. I don't even know why you had to bring it up. What did he get the question for saying that like just playoff, just World Series appearance?
I'm trying to find the context of this.
I think they just questioned him why they haven't had a World Series appearance. But that's your answer. It's not like it happened last year.
Yeah,
like it happened in what year again? 2017.
17.
Like, come on. You're the Yankees. You don't hear comments like that from the Yankees. From anyone in the organization.
The only thing that stopped us was something that was so illegal and horrific. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009. It stopped you 1 year.
Yeah, what's your excuse for
what about
the other 11 years?
Like I said, since 2017, the Astros only knocked you out one other time in 2019. You were 1 and done against Boston last year. You lost a best of 5 to the Rays. You got knocked out by Boston also in 2018.
And the fact that they cheated too, I'm not defending the Astros at all here. I'm not. But the fact that they cheated, let's say they weren't cheating, it's not a guarantee win for you.
Yeah,
it's not like the Astros were a bad team and they cheated and that's the only reason why they won. They could have won that series with what they did or without what they did. They were still that good of a team. They just gave them a competitive advantage. Still 100% wrong and disgusting, but Cashman's throwing it out there as if like, oh, if that didn't happen, we were definitely winning the World Series that year. That's not the case whatsoever.
In games 5, 6, and 7, the Yankees up 3 games 6 and 7. Yankees going to game 6 up 3-2. Game 6 in Houston, they score 1 run. Game 7, they score 0 runs. So yeah, Houston was cheating, but you didn't score.
You weren't scoring.
You didn't score. To our knowledge, Houston, they didn't cheat in terms of like pitching wise. I don't know how you could cheat.
It was just the offensive standpoint.
Yeah, it was the offensive standpoint they were cheating. They put up 7 and 4 runs. Okay, sure, they were cheating, but you scored 1 run in 2 games. And
7 and 4, cut that in half. Let's give half those runs back. You still lose those games.
The Yankees scored on 4 games on the road that series. They scored 3 runs. 1 in game 1, 1 in game 2, 1 in game 6, 0 in game 7.
Yeah, that's Garrett Cole and Verlander shutting you down.
Yeah, no, Garrett Cole was on the team. It was Verlander.
You're right. Yeah, he wasn't. Keuchel.
And then Charlie Morton in game 7. 0 runs. You get shut out 4-0.
Right. Okay, so the fact that Garrett Cole wasn't even on the Astros just shows you how long ago that was.
Yeah, like
that he's bringing that up. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't even know that Garrett Cole wasn't on the team. That's how far it's gone.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so not a good comment. And again, I still wouldn't agree with you, Cashman, but maybe you have a crutch to stand on if you lost all those road games like 8-7.
Yeah,
right. If you scored 7 runs,
if you were in it,
cheated,
and
the
competitive edge that they were getting was the deciding factor in them winning. But you didn't show up whatsoever. And like I said, they were still a good enough team to beat you with or without. It's kind of like the Tom Brady with deflating the balls.
Yeah.
Yes, he cheated, but he still won those games. Like I don't say like, oh, the only reason why Tom Brady won is because he deflated. But no. The Patriots were still that good of a team, and he's that good of a quarterback to win with or without deflating the balls. And it's the same thing with the Astros. They're good enough to win the World Series with or without that help.
So now back-to-back good transitions here. That 2017 Astro team, Carlos Beltran was on that team. Carlos Beltran in the Yankees booth today during their spring trading game made a comment I heard about, and he made a definitive statement about Judge being signed. And when I heard about it, I'm like, all right, maybe he misspoke. He just mixed up his words. And then we looked at the comment that he made, and he was as specific and blatant as possible. I'm just glad to see him being able to create this new contract with the Yankees and be able to extend his stay here in New York. He's an incredible guy. He's a leader in the clubhouse. I'm glad to see him be able to create this new contract and stick around with the Yankees. He hasn't been signed yet. There's no announcement. So it's either he really misspoke, option one, he really misspoke.
That's
2, he got the wrong information. Or 3, he knows something and accidentally spilled the beans. And on the Michael K show today, he said Beltran is in with the Yankees. Like, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So did he spill the beans early?
I mean, let me ask you this. Do you hope he spilled the beans early? Do you hope that that's the case?
I hope, yeah.
You wanted the extension?
Yeah, I think.
You want the extension before the season or after the season?
No, before.
What do you before?
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Because
it's a fair question.
No, yeah, but like if you wait to the end of the season, now everyone gets a chance at Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just the Yankees get a chance at Judge.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned this on the show before. There's a billionaire owner in New York as well that would spend money like no big deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still don't see if that happens.
Imagine after all these years, it's now the Mets taking the Yankees guy.
All those Met fans would not shut up. They would let the Yankees fans have it like nonstop if that happened. If Aaron Judge was a Met next year, but yeah, no. If Beltran misspoke, it's very likely, is it not? That
Michael K said, basing off his comments, he feels that the Yankees are on like the 1 yard line right now with Judge.
To get, I mean, it's good news. It's good news in my opinion too. I think you do want to get the contract done sooner rather than later because then it avoids all the questions that may happen at the end of the season.
And it makes this offseason that's been so debated for the Yankees. It just makes it's a little bit better. Because
a little bit.
Yeah, it helps.
A little bit.
All right, at least we locked up Judge. At least we did that.
But also, in my opinion, it also depends how long you lock him up for. Like if you give him a 10-year deal.
No, they're not going to. I'll be shocked if it's anything over 6. But I'd be shocked if it's anything over 6.
If it's not anything over 6, I think that's where you may not see a deal. I think that's probably where
I think a 6. I'm looking at a 6-year deal. I'm thinking.
But that's good. If Judge takes a 6-year deal, I think that's good news because that just shows that he wants to be here, and especially if he gets it done before the season, because he's definitely a team's gonna give him 7, 8, 9 years if he hits free agency next year, 100%. So if he takes the 6-year deal and he doesn't bend the Yankees to 7 or 8, that just shows you that I guess he wants to be here, and that's good to see for the Yankees.
Yeah, I'll break on 7-year deal. I'll go. I don't see anything over 7. I'll say.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked at 8, 9, 10. Cole,
I would too.
Because that's a pitcher.
Yes.
And you need, and the Yankees haven't had an ace in a long time, and they needed an ace. So Cole, you do that for Cole, the 9 years, or I think it was 9.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if Judge got 8, 9, or 10
regardless if it's 7, 8, or 9, you're still paying Judge for right now. You're not paying him for later. Like if it's 7, 8, or 9, honestly, and it's kind of irrelevant because you want to win soon. Like you want to win in that first 5 at the least. So you're really same way with the Garrett Cole. You're not that 9-year contract. You're not expecting him to be Garrett Cole in years 7, 8, 9, maybe even 6, 7, 8, 9. You're not expecting him to be Garrett Cole. You're willing to eat those years to win now.
You want the first half of that 9, so like 4 or 5 years. You're expecting
the
what last
you're
3.
For.
Same thing with Judge. You expect that these long-term contracts, the guys in their late 20s and early 30s. Look
you're
at
paying for the first half.
You're paying for the first half, and you're gonna bite the bullet. But with the Yankees,
the way look at Pools, even Robinson Cano with Seattle.
I saw a tweet today.
And now the Mets are finishing.
It might have been a joke. It could have been a joke. I didn't know. I couldn't. One of the guys at Twitter, I couldn't decipher if this guy's a troll or whatever. But he tweeted that people are forgetting we have Robinson Cano. He's a Met fan. We have Robinson Cano on this team, and when healthy, he's a 40+ home run hitter that can be in the same league as Tatis and Soto. I hope it's a joke.
I hope that's a joke too. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a joke. Like to say, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that.
No.
Like, yeah, can he hit 25 home runs? Maybe. But like to say 40.
And he's the same league as Soto and Tatis.
And can we remember?
2008.
But can we also remember that he's just coming off a suspension for PEDs?
Yeah, and he's 30.
So maybe that had an effect.
How old? That is also true.
Maybe that had an effect on why he was hitting the ball that much, why he was hitting 40 home runs.
He's also 39. He's also 39 too.
People don't think before they speak.
Yeah,
they really don't.
They're acting like this is like prime Yankees Robinson Cano.
I know.
Like some of these crazy years. He batted 319, hit 29 home runs, 109 RBIs, third in MVP voting.
I'll say it again. He just got back off of a suspension for cheating for PEDs, which helps your performance.
Yeah, some might say.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I hope it was a joke. You never know what the Mets.
I hope so too.
You can't get a read on them. So, but the Yankees, I was telling Ringle before the show, they might get postponed their first game because of weather. I guess they play Boston first. Yeah.
Yes.
Right off the bat, they get Boston.
Mets play the Nationals, I think, the first series.
Yeah, but their Yankees are home against Boston on Thursday. It might get rained out. So they'll have it's planned Thursday game, Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday you're off and running. But now the Yankees might not have that off day. Might have to start Friday because of the weather Thursday, and then go I think 9 in a row.
No more 7-inning doubleheaders too. So if there's a doubleheader in that weekend,
I didn't mind the 7-inning doubleheaders. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either. I get it, but like it was weird with the breaking of records and stuff like that. We saw
that was dumb with Bumgarner. Like you made this a rule in the league, but you're not going to give him like you said. Double headers are 7 innings. It counts in the win or loss column, but you won't count it as a no hitter though.
Stupid, completely stupid. Yeah. So like in that sense, I'm happy it went back to 9 just so we avoid that from here on out. But yeah, I guess you shorten the game a little bit, but still, I feel like you want to play 2 full games. You don't want those gray areas where because you can. It's baseball. There's no clock. You can come back in 8 innings, 8 and 9.
I know,
and those are wins.
Get it done in 7. You know.
I know, I get it, but if it's been this way this whole time,
sport that's so slow and like pitchers are so fragile.
Again, here we go back to our discussion a few weeks ago when it was just the two of us. MLB is so dead set on making the game faster and changing shifts and doing all this to make the game faster and more appealing. But we don't keep the 7-inning doubleheaders, and we add the
siding with them. I know.
Yeah,
it's just it's back ass sports.
Yeah, they contradict themselves constantly.
Yeah,
they do.
I don't know. But I was the one rule change, not the guy on second crap. I like the 7-inning double header. I actually did not mind. I actually like that idea for baseball because it's a longest season, the fragile pitchers and like the games. Double headers drag to begin with. The game starts like 1 in the afternoon, sometimes before that. Yeah. No one's there. It's on like a Wednesday, So I didn't mind actually the double headers for 7 innings. Again, Yankees, Mets starting this week. Ringle said they got the Nats.
Yes.
Got the Nats. I think it's Steve Strasburg back. He missed the whole season last year.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's in the...
Let's look into it.
We got computers.
Yeah, I know. Steven Strasburg tries something, not pushing for fast return. That was a week ago. So he's not going to be back for the series, most likely.
Yeah, he's another pitcher that's always hurt.
Yeah, Steven Strasburg coming back. He's on the 60-day IL. This was 60-day IL, and this article was posted. Where's the article? Could be looking at mid-May debut, so you don't have to worry about Strasburg. The Nationals, they just went all in with a bunch of older guys to win that championship, and then just done. Scherzer's out the door. Corbin's not what he was when he came onto that national team to win a champ. Strasburg's hurt. Anthony Rendon is on the.
Well, he was gone. He was gone before.
No, he wasn't. Rendon won the championship with them, and then he went to free agency, and the Angels got him. Howie Kendrick.
Sure, it was 2 years ago.
Juan Soto looks like he might be out the door when his time comes. One of the best players in baseball, and maybe he's the next outfielder for the Yankees. Who knows? But the Yankees don't like spending money, so never mind. So enough with baseball. Mets and Yankees starting this week. We'll finish up the show. Give me actually a quick, more of a quicker show, depending on how this conversation goes with the Islanders and Rangers onto hockey now. We'll start with the Islanders because we're biased over here. So the Islanders, they're playing pretty good hockey as of late. The last 10 have been pretty good. I don't know exactly what their last 10 looks like. Oh, I have it right here, actually. Their last 10, 7-3. They've won 4 in a row. One of those wins was a shutout at the Garden against the Rangers. They've knocked off the Blue Jackets twice, the Devils, the Red Wings, the Senators. But that's why I say this, because within this 10-game stretch, they have lost to the Flyers, whatever, and then they got shellacked by the Bruins and the Lightning. So the Islanders are good enough now where they can beat every team out of the playoffs. The Islanders are good enough right now where they can compete with some of the wild card teams in the playoffs. But when you have the top teams in each conference, the Islanders aren't quite there yet. They got their next couple games is no, I'm looking at the wrong team. It's the Rangers. Everything I just said was right about the Islanders. I was just briefly looking at the Rangers. So everything was right there. They got the Stars on the road tomorrow, the Hurricanes on the road, the Blues on the road, Penguins at home, Penguins on the road. So it's an uphill climb. The Islanders, they're 11 points out behind Washington with a game in hand. They got 2 more left against Washington. I saw some scenarios. It's a miracle they need. It's an absolute long shot. But if you want this miracle to happen, you need the Islanders to show that they can beat those playoff teams consistently. Couldn't beat Tampa, couldn't beat Boston. They beat the Rangers convincingly 3-0. But you got a slate. Dallas, Carolina, St. Louis, Penguins. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row against top teams in the league.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, let's say they do pull this miracle off. Let's say they do get in. At least you can kind of say that they like. You can't say that they don't deserve and they don't deserve to be there. They're gonna go. They're gonna go through some of the best teams in the league, and
you went through hell earlier in the league with all the COVID stuff and the 13-game road trip and playing with a minor league team.
Yep.
But it's a long shot, and you also have a lot of guys in this lineup, like the Chars and the Andy Greens in the world, that I don't think can hang around for a long push right now. And Scott Mayfield's out until the playoffs, if you even get there. Quarterback's out for the season. But the promising things you've seen, Brock Nelson having his best season ever. He's been fantastic.
Insane.
Anders Lee has turned it on in the second half. Kyle Palmieri's turned it on in the second half. Barzell's still great. That line of Barzell, Parise, and Wallstrom has been pretty good. Sorokin has been phenomenal. He's hurt right now. He'll be back soon. Varlamov's gotten it together, third star of the week. So in a season that might be lost, and you're not going to make the playoffs most likely, you're not going to make the playoffs, there is optimism for the Islanders. I think they'll be back next year. But
they'll definitely be back. They'll definitely be there.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Where are they going to go? Kansas City?
No, you never know.
No, I don't think you got what I was saying. Like, they'll be there, like, physically.
No, I get what you're saying.
Okay,
you never
all right.
know. I mean, a whole plane
don't even say
in the KHL years ago.
Don't even say that.
You don't want to speak in
absolutes. I gave you the benefit of the
when
doubt.
When talking about life, you don't want to speak in absolutes, right?
Well, you like to speak in absolutes. You don't want to treat every.
Yeah, if you walk on eggshells your whole life,
Yeah,
but you never know. You said that but it's so specific because of the team in the KHL that unfortunately the team that the way that happened. But now getting away from the somber.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm confident the Islanders will return to form next year.
There you go.
Will return to form next year. But there's some things you got to do this team right now is good enough to make the playoffs again, but to get over the hump, you need the top scorer. And free agency provides some optimism, but they got to make it work. And they got to clear some cap space. So it's interesting what they'll do with Varlamov going forward. I would love to keep him, but salary cap reasons, you could move him. There's other options in free agents to replace him, but you love Varlamov, and especially with the way he's been playing.
I've been at his defense all season, and whenever we've talked about this, whether it's in a group chat or here, I think, yes, salary cap reasons, yes, it does make sense to possibly move him, but I think it's money well spent if they are able to keep them, and as long as it doesn't hold them back from making other decisions to improve the team, like getting a top 6 forward or something like that. Defense wins championships, and all these pushes that we've been going through, the back-to-back semifinals and whatnot, we've had the 2 great goaltenders. So that's something that I would like to keep for the Islanders. And yes, you can replace them with someone cheaper, but is it a guarantee that he's going to play the way Varlamov has been for us?
I trust the Islanders with the way they develop goalies ever since the Trotz regime came over. They've picked Lehner out of obscurity and made him into a starter. Thomas Greiss was a backup for life, starter. Varlamov.
I know you said this.
Kind of looking at the back end of his career, maybe in Colorado. Now he's a starter. Sorokin comes from the KHL. He was with a lot of hype, and he's lived up to the hype. But there's names. I mean, Philip Forsberg will be a tough task to get. Giroux in free agency. I don't know if they'll go towards Giroux. He's a center, and he's a prime.
But isn't he also on the older side?
He's 34.
Oh wow, I thought he was older for some reason.
No, so he's the experienced veteran that Lamoureux loves. But these are all hypotheticals. But the Islanders have to prove though that they're able to get that top free agent in free. They haven't done it in years where they've gotten the big free agent piece. Where there's always been the talk every year with the Islanders that I can get this. Never, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head where they have lured in that big fish in the ocean in free agency. So we'll see what they wind up doing. Malkin's a free agent. I don't see him going anywhere. I see him come back to Pittsburgh. Patrice Bergeron's a free agent, but he's either retiring or he'll go back to Boston. But the thing is, the Islanders, you're not going to get Bergeron's a center by heart. I don't see the Islanders getting a center because they have Nelson, Barzal, Cizikas, and Pajot. They're not getting a dead center. They need a wing, like a winger. Forsberg can play the wing. And they also need to they have 3 great defensemen, Pelech, Dobson, who's been phenomenal, and Pulock. That's great. What's after that? Mayfield's solid. So you have 3 great ones. Mayfield's a solid 4. Who's finishing it out?
Yeah,
who's finishing it out?
You can't ride
Chara and Andy Green.
Andy Green and Chara. Yeah,
you're done with them. You have someone in the system, or do you go get an old reliable in free agency? So I'm looking at the offseason right now. I'm watching Islander games, entertained. It's not like some team, like you're a Jets fan, so you're watching the games am I rooting for my team or am I rooting for a draft pick right now? I'm rooting for the Islanders right now to win as many as they can.
Without a doubt, you want to see this team still show why they went to back-to-back semifinals. And yeah, that's different with the Jets this year, but because we have a rookie quarterback, I'm rooting for wins no matter what, because you want that rookie quarterback to play good. But back to the Islanders. So yeah, you're still rooting for wins. It's not the same transition as it is with football and stuff with draft picks as it is with hockey. It's not.
Hockey draft picks are valued, but not as much as
much football. To throw games or lose games or to show that you're not good. Or
football is the valued sport of draft picks. Other than basketball, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely football than basketball. Definitely. Yeah, because baseball, the draft happens middle of the season.
Yeah, and you can't trade them. You can't trade draft picks. So, all right. So last thing we got to do here, the Rangers, the one team that's in the playoffs right now is the New York Rangers. They're having out of nowhere season, 94 points. They're probably going to play the Penguins in the first round. The Hurricanes are lighting the world on fire. They have a 4-point cushion with 1 game in hand on the Rangers and a 6-point cushion with 1 game in hand on the Penguins. I think the Hurricanes will be one of the, if not the team to beat in the East. I think the team that is going to compete with them is Tampa or Boston. I think Tampa, Boston, Carolina are the 2-3 teams in the East in the NHL. The Panthers, as high-powered and great as they are, they have no goaltending. They have no goals. Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight have been Jekyll and Hyde all year, and you cannot have Jekyll and Hyde goaltending going into the playoffs. They can score and score and score. The Devils had a 6-2 lead against the Panthers in the third period the other day. Panthers scored 4 unanswered in the third to tie it, and then the goal in the overtime to make it 5 unanswered. So they could score at will, but in the playoffs, high-paced scoring is not going to win you a championship. That's great if you have top-notch elite scoring, but you need something in the net. Yeah, and the Panthers goaltending, I do not like at all.
They could get away by winning a round or two, but maybe they don't go all the way. Yeah,
if they line up against Washington, they can beat Washington based on that, because Washington's goaltending is, I think, iffy. Toronto, I think if they line up against Toronto, that's a team that they could beat in the first round.
I was going to say, too, Toronto's kind of a similar story, too. They could score not as much as the Panthers, but they don't have that. They don't have consistency behind the net.
Yeah, Campbell's been good this year, but now he's hurt. And Mrazek,
he's been
iffy, and he's hurt as well.
Yeah.
So who knows what's in net for Toronto. But Panthers, they line up against Toronto. I think they could beat them. They line up against the Capitals. I think they could beat them. The thing is, Panthers, I think they're going to win the division. They're going to win the Eastern Conference regular season. I forget the name of that. I don't know if they'll win the President's Trophy, because I think that might go to
Right now, Avalanche
Colorado.
are 2 points ahead of them.
So they'll be neck and neck for the President's Trophy. The Panthers will line up either against Boston or Washington, the wild card teams. And if they wind up against Washington, which right now it's looking like they will, I think they'll beat them. Let's just say they fall off and they wind up going in the first round against Toronto. I think they'll beat them. If they go in the first round against Tampa, I think Tampa will beat the Panthers. And then everything else, I think the Rangers and Penguins aren't going to be a wild card team. But my 3 teams are Carolina, Tampa, and Boston are my 3 good teams I like out of the Eastern Conference. And I'm leaving out the Rangers. Why do I leave out the Rangers? I just don't think there's enough experience up front. As much as I like their moves, Toronto and Andrew Kopp have been playing very good. Toronto's over a point a game with the Rangers, and Toronto's right behind them, right behind a point a game. I'm pretty sure Andrew Kopp had an overtime goal. I forgot who they beat, where he had the overtime goal. They lost the other day to the Flyers. They won 4 in a row, lost 2 in a row. Rangers lost to the Islanders and the Flyers. I think they could beat the Penguins in the first round. I don't think it's a sure thing that they could beat the Penguins in the first round. Tristan Jarry for the Penguins has been phenomenal this year after a very bad season, not a very bad, okay regular season and a very bad postseason against the Islanders last year. So I don't know, are we going to get playoff Tristan Jarry or 2021, 2022 regular season Tristan Jarry, which has been phenomenal this year? Rangers, Penguins, I don't know. It's not a sure thing. I don't like one team a lot more than the other. Shesterkin has been phenomenal. Could win the MVP of the league, but I mean, he has not been good against the Islanders. That's for sure. I think his record against the Islanders is not good at all, but I don't think he has to worry about seeing them in the playoffs because the Islanders are probably not even making the playoffs. So again, the moves by the Rangers with Vetrano and Kopp, good moves. They're panning out. I could see those moves helping them get past Pittsburgh, but do I see them beating the Hurricanes? No. Do I even see them beating Boston? No. Do I see them beating the Lightning? No. Do I see them even beating the Panthers? Here's the weird thing with the Panthers. I can see them competing with the Panthers because their goaltending's not good at all. Shesterkin could steal you a game against the Panthers because the Panthers have no goaltending. Bobrovsky and Samsonite have been terrible.
It's all about how you match up in the playoffs. It's all about that. And like you're saying, like it's funny that you're saying this, that the Rangers won't be able to get past the 3 seed in the Atlantic and the 2 and one of the wild card teams, but you think they could definitely get past the team that's winning the East?
I don't know about definitely, but I could see them getting past Florida.
I know I'm not fully
because their
saying
goaltending
that,
so. But the thing is, the Panthers are good enough to get past the Capitals, and they're good enough to get past the Maple Leafs and the Penguins potentially, and the Rangers. But could the Rangers and Penguins and the Maple Leafs give the Panthers a run for their money? Yes. Why? Because the Panthers have no goaltending. I was just
saying that to aid it's all about how teams match up in the playoffs. That's the reason why I brought that up. I
like the Lightning are fantastic. They're the man. They're great. The Bruins have good goaltending and a good defensive structure. The Hurricanes have good goaltending for Frederik Andersen, or have good structure over there, and they have a lot of skill. But so the Rangers, most likely you're seeing the Penguins in the first round. Not a short thing. I think they could beat the Penguins. I like your moves at the deadline. You're not you're a really good team. Are you one of the best teams in the league right now? Points say yes, but I can't see the Rangers getting past the second round, depending on who they want. I see them knocking off the Penguins. They could knock off the Penguins, but once you meet the second round, you're going to meet
the Hurricanes or
maybe the Lightning, possibly. In the second round. Yeah. And that's going to be a tough task to ask for. And I don't like the Rangers back end on defense. Truver's been very good this year. Fox is fantastic. I don't like anyone else after that. Panarin's been phenomenal. Zibanejad has been phenomenal. Kreider's been otherworldly this year. But Vetrano, Kopp, very good addition. They're playing very good right off the rip in their tenure in New York. The rest of the forward group leaves more to be desired. The rest of the defensive group leaves more to be desired. Beating the Penguins, I see it. After that, I don't.
And they made a significant jump this year from last season.
Unbelievable. I saw them making a jump to being a playoff contender, but they've been phenomenal this year.
To say what we're saying, to what Jordan's saying, that he doesn't see them going maybe too much past the first round. It's not. I don't think it's a complete knock. It's not going to happen in a year. They're not going to flip a switch. I mean, it can. It's not impossible.
They can, the Islanders.
They can get hot and they could take it all this year, 100%. It's not out of the question. But if you're a Rangers fan, if they beat the Penguins and they get to the second round and they lose you can still be happy about this season 100%. It's not, you're not expected to win the cup. Like the Islanders, especially last year, they were expected to get there.
Last year, going to the season, you're saying the Islanders were expected to go to the cup last year?
Yes.
By us or outsiders?
By us. Oh, and kind of outsiders, I feel. Well, because they had the surprise season the year before, or somewhat surprise season.
They had a good season. Yeah, they made it to the second round, and they lost in the COVID playoffs to Tampa. So we expected them, or really just hoped them to get back there.
Yeah.
The outsiders didn't. They were like, no, the Islanders' time. They hit lightning in the bottle, but it's going to catch up to them, and they were wrong last year. Then this year, everyone got on the bandwagon, and now they let them down.
The stage was too much for them.
Yeah, everyone. Stop talking about the Islanders. We're better off when no one cares and we're getting made fun of, you know. But while I'm at it, while I'm doing predictions, I'm going to look to the West right now. It's Colorado's conference to lose. The two teams that can give them a run are Minnesota and Calgary. I really like Calgary. I really do like Calgary. They have a great goaltending. Their top line has been phenomenal with Lindholm, Gaudreau, and Matthew Tkachuk. Mangiapane's having a great season. He'll be a restricted free agent going into this offseason. But Markstrom is a Vezina candidate in net.
They got Toffoli. I was going to bring up.
Tyler Toffoli's been a good ad for Montreal. I really like the Flames.
From Montreal. Sorry.
For what?
I think you said for Montreal.
Oh, yeah, shit.
I don't know.
I don't know what I said.
No, you scared me because I thought I got it wrong. Okay. I was like, wait. No, he's on the Flames, right? But yes.
Yeah, he was from Montreal. Exactly. Yes. And he wasn't doing good in Montreal this year. I had him in fantasy. I had to drop him. But he's been good for the Flames.
He's on my team.
Now he's on your team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I had to get rid of him. I had to cut loose. Golden Knights, major disappointment when Lehner's not healthy. Stone's not healthy. Pacioretty, Pacioretty, I don't know if he's been in and out of the lineup. Don't quote me on that. But I know Eichel, you got him. He's been great since you got him, but you had to wait a little bit after you got him. Lehner's been hurt. And other than Lehner, the goaltending hasn't been that good. Thompson's been good, been okay since Lehner's been hurt, but now he's back. Mark Stone's been hurt. Alec Martinez has been hurt. They're still not back, I believe. So the Golden Knights, really disappointing. The Oilers, I don't see doing much. They're just benefits of a bad division. The Kings came out of nowhere, but again, do I see the Kings making a run? Hey, no one saw them making a run in 2012, and they won a Stanley Cup. So, but I think it's the Avalanche conference to lose. Two teams that can give them a run for their money is the Wild and the Flames, but I really like the Flames. I think the Flames could upset the Avalanche. I think that's going to be a battle if they meet in the playoffs. Yeah, that's your Western Conference Finals, I think.
Yeah, they're two teams that are on the same level. They're close to what they are. I agree with that too.
Maybe the Wild. The Wild's the only other option.
They got Fleury. Yeah, they got Fleury at the deadline. Yeah,
Fleury.
that is a sneaky move that could help them.
Yeah.
Make that next step and actually try to make the Stanley Cup.
The Blues are in a goalie dilemma right now. The Stars.
They still have a solid offense, the Blues, but yeah, it's not as consistent as the Avalanche and the Flames.
Yeah, other than that, I love the Flames goaltending. Avalanche the Avalanche are arguably a step above the Panthers, but with good goaltending, because I like Darcy Kemper back there and good defense back there.
Kemper and that other guy, I don't know, I'm not going to say Francois or whatever. He's solid too. He's not bad. So that definitely gives them the leg up on Florida with having the goaltending help. And
they have an Ekblad, I believe, is still hurt for the Panthers. He might be back for the playoffs. So even without Ekblad, they're still phenomenal in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be back in the playoffs. Mackenzie Weegar's a great defenseman for the Panthers. But again, I think it's going to kill them, that goaltending. It's going to kill them. It reminds me of, remember the shortened season after the lockout in 2013 when the Islanders made the playoffs against the Penguins? And the Islanders almost won that round against the Penguins. And the Penguins were the best team in the league that year. And they almost lost in the first round. Why? Because Fleury was a disaster in the first round.
I remember giving them hell in the stands.
And then they get knocked out in then the second round. The Bruins soundly knocked off the Penguins. Why? Bruins had I don't know if it was Tuukka Rask or Thomas at the time. They had great goaltending. Penguins didn't, with Vukun and Fleury back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The best team in the league, the Pittsburgh Penguins, almost lost to the Islanders in the first round, then got easily bounced in the second round. Why? Great team, a lot of skill, no goaltending. I see there's a possibility with the Panthers. I really don't like their goaltending. Really do not. But I think that will wrap it up. I don't have the outro music set, and I hate doing it in post-production, so I'm going to get it ready right now. If you want to say any closing remarks while I find this.
I just hope the Islanders could find a way to make it interesting. Like I said, I'm not.
Just make it fun, you know?
Yeah, just make it fun. I'm not expecting them to make it, obviously, but just make it fun. Make it interesting.
Yeah, but
Let's
my
see what
God,
happens.
with this remaining with these remaining teams
Yeah.
they got coming up, my God.
But like I said, if they
It'll be tough.
if they do get these wins,
All on the road.
you can't say that they don't deserve it. You can't say they don't deserve to be there. If they get these wins and make this.
If they make the playoffs,
That's
this
what I'm
year,
saying.
You can 100% say the Islanders have earned this 1,000%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they
There's
shouldn't
no
be there.
question.
It's not like the NFL where like the Eagles had no business
And
being there, the
Steelers,
Steelers had no
yeah,
business.
the Browns
You
the
can't
year
say
before,
that
yeah.
for the like. Yes, the Islanders have been bad this year, but if they top this feat, then
Yeah.
it's like
with the COVID stuff
Yep.
and the 13-game road trip and
Mhm.
playing with a minor league team. Yeah, those all will set back the season. And as much as I hate the excuses and like teams got to find a way. It made it a little bit more harder for the Islanders. We talked about this yesterday with our friends. It makes it harder for a team to come out of the funk when they're all on COVID IL and no one's in the lineup. But still, that it was in October, November, a little bit
It's
in
a
December.
long season.
You had all of January and February. I remember terrible losses to Seattle at home right before the All-Star break. Terrible losses to the Capitals. They've had opportunities to get the right foot forward, and they have.
It's not a 30-game season.
Exactly. It's not football where if for the first 5 games you have the practice squad in, you're kind of screwed in football because there's only 8. How many? 17.
17 now. Yeah.
You have a long season to go.
Mm-hmm.
So the Islanders again, but if they pull it out by the grace of God, they have earned it. But do I see it happening? No. The Capitals need to. The Capitals need to take 2 handguns and shoot themselves in the foot every single night, and the Islanders need to take 2 handguns and shoot their opponent every game, and somehow come out on this death road trip on top. Good luck. Good luck. But that will do it for most likely the shortest episode in Uncontested Sports with Jordan and Ringle this week. Yankees and Mets regular season, it's back. So if you're an Islander fan, you don't like the season, you got some baseball to look forward to. The NFL draft is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we'll talk about that
We
soon.
talk about a lot of things that can happen. We don't know where the Jets and Giants will go, so we'll dive into that. We'll talk some football. It's because it's been kind of quiet with the offseason. Again, with Jordan and Ringle this week for Uncontested Sports. We'll see you all next Monday.